Hey guys, welcome to The Sophisticated Scoundrel. Today we're going to talk about the importance of men having groups or at least one friend who's a man that you can spend time with away from women. But before we get into that, I'd love for you guys to check out my new guide. It is called The Art of Attracting Feminine Women. Look, guys want women in their lives, but it's important to make note that it's not just necessarily any woman, but attracting a feminine woman into your life makes for much better relationships. And I think most of you guys out there would prefer to date a feminine woman. And there are things that they might seem kind of simple, but they often get overlooked by guys, and especially red flags. Things to look out for in the women that they're dating, especially younger guys out there. So I put together a guide. You can grab that below. It's completely free. So check that out. Okay, so let's get into this topic of the idea that men need to spend time with other men and that we need to have men-only spaces. It used to be that there were bars, men's clubs, men's groups, even the Boy Scouts. This was exclusively for boys. Now it's become a world where women have become, in order to not be sexist or misogynist, now women are allowed into every single men's space, whether it be video games, sports, even the Boy Scouts now have just become the Scouts because women or girls can join it. Now, what's the big deal about this? Well, the big deal is that when women enter a man's space, most men, they're going to conform to what the woman says. And what do I mean by this? Well, so as I'm sure many of you have seen, so many women, they will complain about this is sexist, this is wrong. Well, the problem is that it wasn't their space to begin with, and men need a place to vent. Sometimes there are things that you want to talk about with in regards to women that women are not going to like to hear, but it's the cold, harsh truth, because we all know that a lot of times women they have a hard time with accountability. They can't take these brutal truths sometimes about themselves. And when men are not allowed, or when they hold back from really getting stuff off their chest, stuff builds, resentment builds, and this is where things can really pop off and explode. And, guys need a place where they can simply go and vent and talk about stuff, and also just to share any other shit that's on their mind, because so many guys these days are using their wife or girlfriend as a therapist, as their mommy, because they're told to be vulnerable, right? They're supposed to share all their feelings. And the reality is women don't really want to hear that. They have sympathy up to a certain point, but after that, it's kind of like, okay, dude, figure it out, right? That's sort of the mentality. So this is why I always push back on this idea that, let's just have co-ed this, co-ed that, because the reality is you simply need a time to be with your boys. And girls need a time to be with their girls too. Not girls' night in Vegas, but hey, they want to get together, and do stuff like have a dinner or whatever the hell they're doing. I think that's a healthy thing too, but men need to have that space as well. And because, like I said, so many men will censor themselves. And plus, when you have men who are not very successful with women, this is where you get the backstabbers. These are the guys who will stab other men in the back in hopes that they can get into whatever woman that has entered the group, that they can get with them, that they can get into their panties. And they become a white knight or an ally or a male feminist. And these kind of guys become snakes. And I talked about this in a prior video. It was a little bit of a different context, but as soon as you have a woman enter into the picture, there's going to be some sort of inner group competition. And all of a sudden now, all the focus goes in on that instead of getting shit done or discussing things, as guys do. So I think, one of the best things that you can, and this other thing I want to mention too is that, a lot of times when guys get into a relationship with their girlfriends or they're are married, they always have to check in with their wife. Well, let me make sure I can do this. It's like, they're totally operating in the woman's frame. They have absolutely zero frame of their own. They have to get permission. Let me check with my mommy, make sure I can go out with the guys. I mean, it's just like they have absolutely no more say over or authority over their own life. And the other thing too is that they want to bring their girlfriends, they want to bring their wives, so they don't feel left out. It's like, obviously, there are times for that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's like, it's great to bring a girl out and you all have a good time. That's totally fine. But it's important to remember that you need to have time with just the boys. Go do guy shit, And so one of the best ways you can do this is you need to have at least one guy friend where you can go out, you go to whatever you want to do. Maybe it's fishing, maybe it's going shopping, or maybe it's going, driving 4x4s, or it's going to shoot guns, or it's, going to a concert, going to grab a drink. These the types of things that, just with your boys you can go do. You don't need to always be bringing your girl along. And trust me, guys, if you're dating a feminine woman especially, she's going to want you to just go and have fun with the boys. Feminine women support men being men together. Now, if you're dating a feminist and this new age progressive chick, she's probably going to feel very insecure. She's not going to like that. She's going to give you shit for wanting to go hang out with your boys. And if she does that, well, it's good news, because that means that she is not a woman to hang out with. If she's not supportive of you hanging out with other and having male friends, that's a huge red flag. So I guess in a way it's a good thing to find that out, because if she acts like that, then you don't want to hang out with her. You don't want to be with a woman like that. Feminine women love when their man has other male friends and goes out and do guy things. So, this is something that society has changed. It's something that, guys don't hang on to their own spaces. They haven't hung on to their own spaces because a lot of men are weak. And then, let me just let them in. We have to be very inclusive and all this other bullshit. But hey, if you're watching this video and if you're into masculinity and self-improvement, then you need to understand that you need to take time to be with simply other men and do guy stuff. It'll recharge you. It'll give you a sense of brotherhood and camaraderie. And you can go home and then be with your wife and just be a much more charged, and you've gotten shit off your chest, and maybe you got some great pointers from your other fellow brothers, and you're going to go back and feel so much more invigorated. If you're kind of castrating yourself and holding yourself back and not doing this thing with other men because you're afraid that your girl is going to get upset with you, well, first of all, you have a problem with your own self-esteem. Second of all, you have a problem with the woman that you're with, Think about that. So this is kind of what I wanted to say. So I wanted to ask you guys, have you ever been in a position where you felt that you couldn't do that? Have you dated someone like that? And if you had, what happened? Or have you been a guy who's always been able to make it very clear, like, look, I hang out with my boys. We have a boys' night. We do guy things. And you have a very healthy and you have a healthy group of friends, guy friends, that you hang out with. I'd love to hear about it. Let me know down in the comments. Otherwise, if you have any questions, please leave those down in the comments too. And if you would like to book a one-on-one conversation coaching call with me, there's links down below where you can click on and find the best option that works for you. Other than that, I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one.